into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another Elite FPL live stream as we build up to the start of the season 2020 to 2021. I'm Jason, and with me is Stevo and a special guest, JNO, the man in the know. What was that you just wrote? What was that there?
I don't know.
He's been writing a book for the last 5 minutes.
Road to 5k. Subscribe to Elite FPL now.
Oh, is he?
Thank you ever so much. Oh, thank you ever so much. JNO, how on earth are you, my friend?
I'm good. You know, just day job, FPL, bit of controversy, but it's all good. I'm happy to be on here, though. Absolutely love it. At least once a year, I have to.
Yeah, well, I think it was about a year ago, actually. Evening, lads, says Mictavius there. FPL Maestro, Chemo in chat, Faraz2KO2. It's a Saturday night. Hope you're all doing really well. Fantasy Football Focus is there. Xena, FPL Dave. How you doing, FPL Dave? Paulie too. We've got Matt D, Benji in the chat too. The moderator sensation, Dread FPL, Vish. A lot of you guys are there waiting. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Let's just kick this off. Is this another one? Signed JNO for FIFA 21 Pro Clubs. Yes. So I was a little bit disappointed to hear that yet again EA have not done cross play. I was really hoping
that
not
much at all with that version of the game. To be fair,
yeah, it's not the moneymaker, is it? I guess.
So neglected. It's the best one. It's the one you can play and have the most fun with your mates. Even if the gameplay is rubbish, it's still a laugh, and they still haven't done anything with it. Which is shocking.
I love that. It probably still is the same as what I remember about 8 years ago.
Yeah, probably. There's a few changes, but very minor.
Yeah, I do like the idea of it, but it's just that I know that if I was to do it, I know there's going to be people on Xbox, PlayStation, PC like myself. Yeah. It's trying to get a happy medium where, if
PlayStation and I'm Xbox and you're PC, so
it's straight away. It's like I'd have to choose to try and find one of the two consoles. I don't think my wife would let me buy both. Hello, Daff in Twitch. How you doing? Anyone watching us on Periscope or Facebook Live? Hello to you too. Steve-o, how's your day been?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. The fact that Salah couldn't score out 7 goals despite playing 46 minutes. It's had a great day. And off air, myself, JNO was speaking. And Jay, you were saying that you're coming round to the potential thinking of genuinely going double Liverpool defence rather than having Salah. Do you want to tell the audience how serious you are with that thought process?
Apparently, played more than 46 minutes. Sorry.
No worries. I'm considering it purely because if you look at the defenders in all the big teams with the big hitters, those are the 2 defenders that will score the most. And then you have Kevin De Bruyne, you have Aubameyang, you have all these options that you could be going for that premium slot in with instead of Mo Salah. And Robertson and Trent are going to get around 200 points, you'd imagine. And I don't see any defenders from Man City or Arsenal matching them for that. So that is why I'm seriously considering it. But as you all know, I am a fan of having Salah on my side, so it's one of those sentimental things. I don't want to do it, but I think it might be the best move.
Yeah, someone in the chat the other day kind of was saying that it kind of makes sense that actually going exactly like you just said, double defence, because they will be bringing in the equivalent of possibly about 400 points between them for 14 million, whereas Salah on his own, let's just say, for argument's sake, 250, whatever, for 12 million. But you could probably get a better midfielder, so to speak, than Salah to bring in. Maybe like you said, like Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling. Maybe even Rashford may come out of this, or someone that we're not even thinking of, Son, Ali. Pulisic, Havertz, I don't know. Someone could actually outperform Salah this season. I've said it for a very, very long time. I do not expect Liverpool to be doing much this season. They're still going to be doing extremely well. Funnily enough, I was watching the Mark Goldbridge doing his predictions for this year, and he actually thinks that Liverpool are going to retain the title. Just don't see it myself.
It's not very common, is it?
No, it's not common, and also, I don't know about you, JNO, but there's just something about Liverpool that just do not inspire confidence in me whatsoever. What about, just to add to that, what about Mane as an option instead?
Oh, no. I've flirted with that before, but if I was going to go for a premium, it would be Salah. Penalties help, and I just think the amount of shots Salah has, if he has a good season, he's going to outdo Mane. I think Mane's more clinical. I think Mane doesn't shoot on sight necessarily, and I actually prefer Mane as a player. But I think FPL-wise, it's got to be Salah.
And what about Liverpool in general, just as a team? I mean, I've said they just don't look at it whatsoever. They didn't exactly impress me in the Community Shield against Arsenal. And
I tell you what really helps is the fact that Man City and Man United blank the first game week.
Yeah.
So you can at least see one Premier League game with Salah and then make a decision. If that wasn't the case, I might go without him. But I think it'll probably be Salah for the first game week, just because who else are you going to captain? Aubameyang. It's Aubameyang or Salah for me. And I'd rather have both.
I think it's crazy that a week today we'll have had the first round of matches. We'd have already seen Liverpool versus Leeds. That would have already finished by now. And I'm pretty set with my team. It's pretty much sorted. I'm still waiting on the Chelsea
I've heard that
team
before.
news, so to speak. The Chelsea team news is the one critical for me. If I find out Pulisic is available, I'm getting him straight in my team, no matter what. I think he's an absolute gift. And there are certain other players that I'm going to be looking at, but predominantly my team is pretty much sorted. What about yourself, Jen? Are you still tinkering around, or is it just a case of no, I'm happy with it and bring on the next 7 days?
I think for game week 1, the major decision I need to make is if I'm going Son or Doherty, because I want some Spurs coverage, but just it's a Mourinho side. They never inspire me as much as, say, other sides in the league do going forward. So I'm a bit worried, especially about Son, because how wide he can play. Son's a great player, and if he was up front, straight into my side. But the worry is he stays too far left for me sometimes in some games. And even then, he can have a moment of magic, score one goal from one shot. But just doesn't inspire as much confidence in me as some other players. I prefer if Son was playing in a front two with Kane, or if he was just behind Kane, anywhere central, and Son would be straight into my side. But yeah, out wide, and I think Doherty could have a great season at Spurs. And I think with someone like Kane in the box, we saw what could happen with someone like Jimenez in the box. Could work wonders.
I'm glad you said that, because there's so many people, well, I say so many, there's quite a few people quite negative about Doherty for Spurs. They think that it may have a negative impact on his performance. Like for Wolves, for example, the argument is he gets more of a freer role, and they believe that at Tottenham he's going to be a bit more restricted. But you don't think so. You think, a bit like me, he's actually going to be performing really well.
Yeah, because, I mean, we saw how far forward Aurier was getting last season. And a lot of us put him in our sides because he was cheap and he was bombing forward and he was getting some assists. So I can't imagine that's going to drastically change with a signing like Doherty. I think that's going to just improve as far as that attacking side on the right. So I quite like Doherty.
Jace, did you get a chance to watch the England game today?
I must admit, no, I didn't. No, I've been playing Age of Empires 2, and I've been looking after a very sick 3-year-old. My three-year-old, she's at preschool. She just joined a preschool, and for any parents out there, you'll know that it's quite common that a few days after starting a preschool, or especially a bigger preschool, that they pick up some sort of cold. And yeah, bless her. She's pretty bunged up last night, waking up in the night with basically a bunged up nose. And I think I probably will be next. That's normally how it works. So I've been nursing with her with my wife, and went out for a nice little walk with her, and just kind of detached myself a little bit from it all. Came back. Been away from Twitter for the last few days as well. By the sounds of it, it's probably not a bad thing. And Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. You can get a CD key for about $6.99 for Windows 10 Play Store, and have a lot of fun. That's what I've been doing anyway. And of course, I've just read about... so you can talk to me about England in a second, but I've just read something very interesting about Wolves and a striker for 35 million that they've signed. A Fabio Silva.
Football Manager players will know who he is, but otherwise
I have got absolutely no idea. From Porto, 18-year-old wonder kid. Just out of nowhere, Wolves have just signed this kid for 35 million. So he must be pretty good. He scored 20 times in just 26 matches for Porto. Wow, under 19 for their under 19s, he scored 20 times in 26 matches. Highly rated teenager, then came up with 3 goals in 18 games as Porto won the Primeira Liga and Taça de Portugal. Basically, I've got no idea about him. So, will he be someone that people are going to look at?
No.
Jimenez,
I think he's an understudy for now.
I mean,
Yes.
35 million.
Will
Will he play with Jimenez?
No.
Potential. They've played 3-5-2 before, haven't they? So it could.
They have with Jimenez and
Because
Jota,
the formation might change now. Doherty's gone.
I can't
He might
imagine it
play-
changed too much. It'd either be 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, I'd imagine. I can't see it
No,
drastically.
yeah, can't change. It would. Yeah, I mean, it's one to look at. Maybe in the future.
most
It
important,
certainly isn't
he's
going to
not
be
a
one.
left- He's
Yeah,
not
he's
a
not-
left, which means Vinagre is still an option for now.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, JNO, talking of strikers up top for Wolves, I mean, Jota has been obviously reclassified as a midfielder. If we were to find out that actually Jota's going to be starting up front with Jimenez, could that be the bargain of the season? Because we all know how well Jota can play.
I think if he hits form, he definitely is. Like, there was a period the season before last where he was just on fire. Like, every game he looked like he was going to score 2 or 3 goals. It didn't always happen, but he always looked like he was capable of it. And unfortunately, we didn't see that last season at all. And I do worry he's a purple patch player. Like, when he's on form, you need to bring him in quick and make sure you're getting involved with those points. But I think he is one that you kind of have to predict when he's going to hit that form. I worry that he's not someone that will be consistently good. Like, say, your Jimenez consistently will score goals. It's not always braces, but he will consistently score. I think Jota is one that you need to find the purple patch for.
I like him as a player, Jota. Not as
I
an
love
FPL
him as a
player.
player.
As a football player, great.
A bit like Firmino.
Yeah,
Love Firmino as a
exactly.
player. Don't like him as an FPL option.
Yeah. And to a lesser extent at the moment, Pogba. I mean, he still has moments of brilliance, but obviously FPL wise, can't really look at him at the moment. Jota scored today for Portugal, says Chemo. So you talk about England. What was the actual score?
1-0 to England, and it was a Raheem Sterling penalty, I believe.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I actually saw one message in Discord which stood out to me. It was Dread FPL, and he just said this game. I'm assuming he was talking about England.
Was it
this
worth
game
watching?
is appalling. No, he said it was appalling.
Apparently, it was appalling until the 89th minute. Then it was
Wow.
really good.
Oh, wow, yeah, he scored in the 91st minute of the game.
Yeah.
Was that Carl Walker sent off?
Yes.
Yeah, he decided he didn't need to risk injury and just thought, you know what, I'll get sent off. Make sure
Did you
I'm ready
watch
for
the
the start of the
game,
season. No, I was at work.
Oh, yeah, of
unfortunately.
course. Sorry, yeah.
In case
I was-
Works watched, I definitely wasn't paying any attention to the England score. I didn't care. Didn't have my phone on notifications on. I was purely working.
I've just got up another a friendly result up here. West Ham 3, Bournemouth 5. Gerard Bowen getting 2, Anderson with the other. And West Ham, a team with one player that everybody seems to want to own, but the one player that could potentially be in quarantine, it's Soucek.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Soucek, Jay?
He's literally a placeholder for me, really, with the potential of scoring. He is in my side. I now worry that I need to replace him. But I know a lot of people say West Ham's fixtures are terrible, but I wasn't planning on playing Soucek for most of those fixtures. He's going to be on the bench. As you see, Greenwood is on the bench, so I needed someone in the starting 11 that's cheap that I could play for game week 1 that could potentially do something. And now with that potential going, then Soucek would have to be a player that I'd have to consider moving to someone else.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. If Soucek is ruled out for game week 1, it's a case of I may have to fall into either a 4-4-2 formation or a 3-4-3 and really change up my team.
Yeah.
This is the thing. We're all waiting on this news, and I know I said it earlier, but 7 days. It doesn't seem like it, does it, Jay? That we've got 7 days to go. Because
I'm pretty sure we only ended the season. I'm pretty sure, like, I did my Gameweek 38 video not long ago, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah. It does seem very short, doesn't it, Jace? That, you know, we only just recently finished, and now all of a sudden we're almost into the next season with hardly any tinkering or whatnot whatsoever.
It's gonna just be honest without a blink of the eye now. I mean, we'll be panicking in a few days' time, and the Discord's just gonna go mental. I'm actually quite calm at the moment. I'm really relaxed. Sure. I've got a good idea how my team's going to look. And I've been saying as well on social media, if you look back through my social media posts, days and days and days ago, that Salah wasn't someone that was essential to be in your Game Week 1 squad. The only thing with Salah is, and Aubameyang, is that they're easy switches to, like we've talked about, the Man City, Man United assets. So that's really the only major advantage that has having Salah. I mean, we know that he can perform, but I'm sorry, he's not doing it for me. Like you said, it could be the year of the forwards. It could be. You know, like Tino Werner, Ings, Mitrovic, the ones you got there now. I think they offer great value. I think they do. You know, if Mitrovic starts the season on fire, I mean, okay, some people might laugh at that statement, but he did all right a few years ago, and, you know... I'm
pretty sure he was a heavy bandwagon 2 years ago, at the beginning of the season.
He was.
Just like Pookie, just these players can come up, and
Che Adams is another one.
Yeah, until defences figure them out, they have the potential to do really well. And he's played in the Premier League before. He's scored in the Premier League before. He knows what to expect.
Yep. Newcastle. What do you think about Newcastle signing Jamal Lewis? Got to help St. Maximin even more on the left. No? Yeah. I agree. I think that's a good signing. What about you guys?
Played for Norwich. I'm not going to proclaim to know much about it, but the fact that he played for Norwich does nothing for me whatsoever. I don't think Newcastle interests me whatsoever, other than that man, St. Maximin. I think he's the only one that sticks out to me. There's a chance that Andy Carroll could push on, because is that right, JNO? He's Dwight Gale's injured for a considerable period of time.
I'm not going to lie. I haven't paid much attention to Newcastle at all.
Well, we appreciate your honesty, because I'm exactly the same as you. I have not been paying any attention to Newcastle.
I literally have a whole list of teams and the players I'm looking at, and yes, St. Maximin's there, but that's literally it.
Other than Lascelles and St. Maximin, that's the only two.
If you're looking for a 4.5, yeah.
Or Dubravka. I mean, the thing. Something keeps asking. Yeah, so this is JNO's team on the screen for anyone that's wondering. Okay, so. Yeah, so McCarthy in goal. It's your latest draft, JNO. McCarthy in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Vinagre, Justin Doherty, Aubameyang, Souček, who is a big question mark, Salah, Ings, Werner, and Mitrovic. Imagine what you can do with that team without Salah in it.
Exactly. I tried, and the midfield looked better, to be fair. With Greenwood on the bench still.
Bring Son in.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, my issue with Spurs generally is Mourinho. If it was any other manager, Son would probably be a nailed-in player. But it's just Mourinho. I don't get on with Mourinho whenever he manages a side. Rarely pick the right players with his teams. And I just think he's a manager that's kind of been left behind a bit of an old-school manager. And I think there's teams with better attacking output out there. Defensively, I actually really like the look of Spurs for this season.
Seems like he's got a chip on his shoulder now these days, doesn't he, Mourinho?
He's always got a chip on his shoulder. It's Mourinho.
Well, the chip's got bigger. Like, just think that...
He's got two chips now, one on each shoulder.
What was that video? The video I keep seeing on Twitter? The one with... are they dubbing it over now or something like that? The one where he's like sat there writing on his little notes and then he's like listening... I can't have been real, but that was funny, man. That was so funny.
And they all impose what he's actually watching.
Yeah.
And make him think he's watching it. I've seen. I think I do actually.
We should do that for Elite FPL. We should do that with Steve-O doing a rant about Harry Kane. And then have Mourinho going like this, going... Anyway, carry on.
I do need to watch that documentary, actually. Maybe it could change my mind. But, I think Spurs better looking defensively. Although I will keep an eye, of course, on Harry Kane and Son, because we know their qualities.
The tactic, Jay, that's coming out of the FPL world is the whole thing of going into game week 1 with a bench boost squad, and then game week 2 set up for the Manchester clubs and then for the foreseeable future of the season. What's your thoughts on that tactic, and has it potentially persuaded you to maybe go down that route?
If it was any other time, I would be tempted. But in the current environment we're in, I worry about potential postponements. I worry about things changing and the wildcard being very, very helpful a bit later down the road. If any other season, if this had happened and I hadn't got that worry, it's not even necessary I'm keeping the wildcard for the potential double game week that Man U and Man City will have. It's just I feel like it could be very useful further down the road. Now, if 3-4 game weeks in, my team is doing shocking, there's every chance I will still use my wildcard. But I don't want to commit to using it in game week 2, purely because I think it could be very beneficial for me to use it later down the road.
Obviously you've got Greenwood on the bench here. What's the general overall plan to be bringing in Manchester players? Is it just a case of Salah downgraded to X player, Aubameyang then downgraded to X player? What are your thoughts at the moment? Right
now, Aubameyang probably, and it will probably pay me to do so. And if Arsenal perform really well in the first 2 games, I might keep it. Because I worry that this could be a good year for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I'm worried this could be a great year for Aubameyang as an FPL option.
Yeah.
But right now the plan is to bring in KDB in game week 3. And it, at the moment, is for Aubameyang. But I can't promise that's the move I'll actually make. And I think that's the benefit of having Salah and Aubameyang is I could just take out Salah instead. Greenwood just seems like such a cheap way into that Man United side that as long as they don't sign someone else, I think he's a very clinical finisher. I maybe think this could be Martial's season, so I'm a bit worried about Martial. But of course, with my front line, I can move the funds quite easily and still get Martial. I'm not too bothered about Bruno Fernandes, which I know a lot of people want him in their sides. But I think there's players in that side that will score as well, potentially, as Bruno Fernandes. If not as well, close enough that their cheap price is relevant and I can pick players from other sides.
As a United fan, Jace, what do you think of that? Because I think that's...
let me clarify. Bruno Fernandes is a great player, and I don't think you'd be doing as well without him as you are currently doing. But some of his assists were sideways passes, and then a great finish by Greenwood or Martial. Lots of penalties, which you might still get.
But the thing is, right, Bruno Fernandes came in onto the scene, in January, and he has taken hardly any time to fill the role that we needed. A playmaker, a creative player in the team. Make no mistake that he has the vision to pick out all the passes to the likes of Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. I think he will do really well. And if you just watch him, he's a leader on the field. Like, players actually respect him. He should be the captain. Like, he's passionate. He's passionate, and he's a player that every football fan wants to see playing for their club, because he's got no real. Obviously, he's got no connections with United, but playing for United, you can see that he puts 110% in. Like, he really, really wants to. He wears a badge with honour almost. But I think saying that you're not going to look at him, or not, you're almost like not considering him. I think that's a little bit disrespectful, man. He's been pretty damn. He's promised to read. Yeah,
he's been amazing. But everything you said, none of that applies to FPL. That applies to what he is as a player and how good he is as a player. But
he's
there's
going to play
great
more
players
advanced
that
than
are-
Pogba. He's going to be playing an
Definitely,
advanced
he's
attack.
better option than Pogba easily.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the players around him will benefit from his creativity,
He'll get assists,
and
man.
they could be banging in goals.
He'll get
Goals
assists.
better than assist. If he keeps assisting Martial and Greenwood, then they're going to be scoring the goals.
Depends
and
if
he's going
it's
to get
spread.
assists.
Depends if it's spread out, though,
True.
isn't it? Between those three, if
True.
he's getting 2 or 3 assists and they're spread out, then yeah.
If Bruno Fernandes
And
was the
he's got the
same
penalties
price
as
as
well.
Greenwood, I would go Bruno Fernandes easily. If Bruno Fernandes was the same price as Martial, I'd go Bruno Fernandes. But he's more expensive, and I think their points could be close enough that money can be used elsewhere.
I mean, yeah, okay, I can see your argument. I option for $1 million less, you get Martial.
As soon as Bruno Fernandes is injured, I'm automatically less interested in the rest of the Man United options.
I think also, I know it could. How Pogba plays will also affect my decision as well on Bruno Fernandes. I think when they work in tandem, I think that's when United are at their best. Because Pogba actually will start a lot of the build-up play and a lot of the counter-attacks. So we saw a few occasions when United were a bit off, where Pogba was losing the ball a lot, not quite himself. We saw Bruno dropping deeper, and I'm sorry, but it really showed that that creativity was not quite as good in the team. And yeah, I think that you make a valid point. I think everyone's looking at Bruno, but maybe they're blinkered to it. Maybe they're not considering, because I said a few days ago that I personally rate Martial as being my favourite player since the lockdowns, since the resumption of the season. I thought he was absolutely world class for United, and lots of people in the chat were going, "Hello, Bruno Fernandes. What you're talking about?" I'm like, "No, I'm talking about Martial."
Martial's looked amazing. I really like the look of Martial.
He's really developed over the last 12, 18 months. He's getting better, and I think that you could be onto something, JNO. Really do.
I'm interested to know how you think Van der Beek's going to fit in now that he's signed for Man U.
Yeah, I don't want to try and guess. I mean, I can't see him being playing as a holding midfielder. I don't think it's his best position. Box to box. I don't know how we're going to play it, like a diamond maybe.
He almost feels like a signing that wasn't necessary.
Yeah,
to me.
Almost to me, how I see it is strength and depth, because we've had nothing like that. Maybe you say Greenwood, mentioned him. Maybe he could.
That's
be benched.
what I worry about.
And United play, a more narrow formation, and I think it's one to. We'll find out. We'll have to wait and see with him.
I'll be honest. There's a very good chance that I go to Son purely because I worry that Greenwood won't start game week 2, and then if Greenwood doesn't start game week 2 for some reason, I know Rashford potentially has an injury, I think, but I don't want to start the season with someone that may or may not start on my bench, which means I've weakened my game week 1 team slightly. Or I could just go with Son and then react to what I see. And I worry that Van der Beek's place could be Greenwood's place, even if it's rotation, because I think Greenwood will still get time. Definitely, he's earned it. But I do worry about Greenwood now that Van der Beek's come in. Not that I think Van der Beek's a natural replacement.
At that price point, I'm honestly really looking at Foden. Like, now Silva's gone, and how City...
Now that Messi doesn't seem to be going either.
Now that Messi's not going, Pep does like Foden, okay? And let's be honest, Foden, he kind of had a good season, like the minutes he played, and I think we'll see more starts with him. And I'll maybe on the early wildcard or first wildcard, he could be someone that would be a great enabler. Maybe him and Greenwood. People talking about the City and the United assets. Greenwood, Foden, at those prices, you could get that double or triple up on City. Again, it's really early days to try and make predictions as to whether they're going to get the minutes necessary to bring them into your team or not. I suppose Foden over Greenwood could sway me to one United, 2 City, says Brett Sully in the chat. I again, I'm going to repeat what myself and Steve-O both said. I think that City are going to come out of the starting blocks like a mad horse, a crazy horse. I think they're going to be pretty damn ruthless this season.
It's Pep though. It's Pep roulette, which is why I just feel like I'll just go KDB, like just give myself less of a headache. I would love Foden. I would love Mahrez at his price point as
Aguero,
well.
Mate. 10.5. 10.5. Aguero. 65 minutes. 65 minutes. Aguero.
Patrick
beats everyone for me. Like if I know he's going to play at least 60, 65 minutes, 10.5. That is a serious consideration for me.
Let's be honest, Jason. You saw Nim in the chat and thought I'll start talking really nicely about Aguero. That's what happened. You saw Nim in the chat and you went, let's say something really nice about Aguero.
Look, you can ask Steve-O about my history with Aguero. You know, we've got a bit of good luck with him over the seasons, and I think that what's this about Sancho? Nothing. Sancho is coming before the Palace game. Let's hope he's right. One of my sources. That Sancho story is just going to go on and on and on, isn't it?
Is that Mark Goldbridge the source?
It's going to go on longer than Messi story.
It's never going to end. You know, November will come and we'll still be getting him. Late riser loves Aguero, says Firetog. Yep. Hi Nymphrия, how you doing? Hello, Fantasy Football Focus. Steve, don't fall for his Aguero chat. So Steve-O's not paying attention to who I bring in or what I'm talking about because he's already got a plan.
So bad, he does what he wants.
He's already got. He's got a list, and you know if you're on the list, you're in the team. There you go, but like Santa Claus.
I was thinking a bit like Jericho.
Good. Very clever, yes.
Okay. Right, then, moving away from Aguero. We got your team on the screen. I said I'm calm with my selection so far, which, by the way, I haven't actually shared with anybody. But are you
why
calm?
not?
I'm not sharing it yet.
Why haven't you shared it?
No, I've tinkered with it a bit, but you know, I'm gonna leave it for like later in the week where I can kind of like use it as a thumbnail.
Okay.
Guaranteed to get you to win a mini league. Guaranteed to get you the highest rank ever known. Anyway, oh God's sake, Steve-O.
Yes.
Is that a guitar? Is that a guitar?
No comment.
You're gonna get. Are we gonna start singing?
Is he gonna?
No.
You both play guitar. You can.
I wish I could play an instrument.
Okay, so where is this going? So Steve-O,
you were talking about if I was calm with my side.
Are you calm with your team? Are you relaxed? Are you a type of player that's going to panic a few hours before deadline and make some changes to your team and potentially ruin it?
I'm always a player that's capable of panicking and making a change to my side that I shouldn't make. Always. I'm trying to avoid that. So I already have the changes that I plan to make already in mind and already written down. So it would be potentially Son coming in, Doherty out. So Souček is someone I need to replace. So I'm hopefully going to focus myself. So when it does get close to the end of the season, to the start of the season, I'll have a plan. I'll look at all the potential press conferences, and then I'll only make the changes that are necessary. Whereas I usually don't have a plan. Most seasons I've liked to be fluid, so I can make the decisions when I need to. But I think that completely failed last season. So I think this season to have a plan and then be able to adapt it, but I have a plan in place. So I'll only make the moves I need to make in the right places. Hopefully. We'll see.
Jace, do you want to hear I don't want to embarrass JNO, but I do want to embarrass JNO. Do you want to hear Jay's. Jace, do you want to hear JNO's guilty little secret?
Oh, hello.
Is it going to get us in trouble?
No, of course it's not.
Is it going to get me in trouble?
No.
Go on then.
Essentially, don't ask JNO a quiz question about fantasy football because he'll kick your ass. He is the king of kings. I was listening into the FPL surgery, and yeah, Jay, what is it? 2 years in a row?
2 years in a row, yeah.
What's that on your shoulder?
It's an FPL surgery.
You've got a badge.
Hey!
You've got
That's
a
for winning.
patch. You've got a patch
That's
for
for
your
winning.
T-shirt for winning.
Yes,
That's
they sent me a
fantastic.
T-shirt because I won the quiz.
Wow.
I mean, officially, I didn't win it the second year because they robbed me.
Remind me. No, you won it. What was
No. Officially, they gave it to someone else.
Why?
I think that's particularly unfair. But so I don't know if you all know, but
Oh,
there's a quiz every year on the surgery.
I need an answer.
I've got a very long history with their quiz. I first joined, I think, 2016 or 17, and I did terribly. Absolutely terribly. No points, didn't get anything from the quiz, and I just made a joke of the quiz the whole stream. They invited me back. I missed 1 year, invited back, I won. But then I was thinking, these questions seem very familiar. So I went back and listened to the streams, and it was the same questions every year, just about the season that had happened. So I did the research before the quiz, got it all up. I had
No
all
way.
the answers,
They didn't change the questions.
and so the questions were the same. And I have a good relationship with the guys there, so I thought I could get away with, like, pranking them a bit. So I didn't answer every question straight away, but I knew the answers. And then I made sure I won. And then at the end, there's a tiebreaker. And I happened to say, is there a tiebreaker? And he went, yes, there is. And I was like, is the answer 482? And it was one of those questions where it's a number and you've got to guess it. And he's like, yeah. So they did give me the win because they said I was cheating. But I don't think it's cheating if you predict the questions.
How is
That
that?
is all
How
good.
is that? No. But sorry. But if you're running a quiz, sorry, no disrespect, but if you're running a quiz with the same questions every year, and you've gone to you've researched it and studied it, then
Exactly.
that's what's the word I'm after? That's ingenuity, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just in the quiz by doing my homework.
Come on.
But it's all good. Have a badge. It's all good.
Yeah. All good.
In my mind, I'm still a 2 year winner, 2 in a row. I'm sure they'll change it next year. They won't have the same questions next year.
Well, it's Flapjack now, isn't it? He's taken over.
Yeah. So the guys, they're definitely still the guys in the background. Iceman is still like organising it, still involved. But yeah, they've got new hosts. So yeah, hopefully I'm still a guest. Hopefully I haven't burnt that bridge. I'm pretty sure I haven't. I'll still chat.
Maybe you could give us some of those wonderful vocals that you gave on the show as well. What was the song? I mean, can you remember what song it was? Genuinely.
I think it was Ludacris.
Yeah, no idea.
A certain fantasy about licking from your head to your toes.
Oh
It was a
yes, of course. Yeah.
You're gonna spit some bars for us, Jenny.
I don't know if we're at that stage yet.
Well, you got your guitar ready, so I'm looking forward to it.
I think that was just me hitting my mic.
Oh, was
don't
it?
have
Oh, that's a shame.
The guitar I've got is my kids' one, and I don't think I play a very good tune on that.
I can get a guitar. I tell you what, I'll bring my guitar to the if they do the football content awards. If they do that, then I'll bring my guitar and we can just do like a live version of Ludacris's "Lick My Head to My Toes," whatever it is. I've got absolutely no idea that song is, my friend, but
You'll have to learn it. If you haven't learned it, then I'm not doing it.
Jay, that's a good question for Jason. Do you think it will go ahead, the content awards? Because Jason's a bit sceptical as the whole of the pandemic thing.
I don't know.
What do you reckon,
Have you bought a ticket, JNO?
No, they didn't nominate me. How dare they? I'm not going.
What?
I'm joking.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going, but As it's in London, I suppose I should go.
Well, it's a bit further away from me than it is from you two. There's
I've
been
got
no,
things in
there's not been no update whatsoever, is there? That's the thing.
I have a feeling it will happen, which
You have
is a
a feeling-
shame.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it will happen, but I think that's a shame. They should do something, even if it is smaller. I think they should
Do it
still
open
something.
air, man. Just do it open air. Just go to a park. Go right.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
We're
a park.
all
Everyone go to
used
the
to
park.
it
We all
anyway.
park somewhere. We can all stand 2 meters away. We can wear masks, and we can, all chill and listen to you do a bit of rapping. It's all good. All good.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to book me. I'll be too expensive anyway.
Does that genuinely, was the experience with the Wildcats going to the award ceremony, was that something that will stick in your memory forever?
Oh, definitely. Was it the first time we actually met up in person? I think it was.
It was, yeah, because your vlog said
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it definitely is going to stick in my mind. I wouldn't necessarily say it was just the awards. I think that's the main thing, is meeting up with the Wildcats. We'd
Yes,
spent so much
yeah.
time together online. I think the major thing was, for me, great that Brett won it as well. So that's kind of like the icing on the cake as well.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say the biggest part was meeting the guys. But definitely, I still enjoy the awards. I went before as well, so I've been to the
Oh,
awards.
wow.
But I think that one, it was definitely meeting the Wildcats.
Who had to travel the furthest out of Nim, Brett and Kurt?
I think I had to travel the furthest.
Eh?
I-
Yeah?
So they...
Where was it?
Without giving
It's
too much
Manchester,
away,
wasn't it?
Manchester, yeah.
Sorry.
So I think they all
Oh,
started
right.
close.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't London, was it? It was Manchester.
For some reason, I always get nominated when it's in Manchester and never when it's in London. I don't know why. I literally, 2 years in a row when it's in Manchester. London last time, I think 2 years ago, didn't get nominated. So it's something about it when it's in Manchester. Maybe less people compete then, because they don't want to travel. Got this competition.
Yeah.
Back to your team and everything. That front line of Ings, Werner and Mitrovic is, I think it looks beautiful on paper. And you think that those three will kick on the start of the season. I mean, Ings is certainly somebody that I kind of am passing up on myself. But you think certainly them three will kick on and serve you well.
Well, yeah, it's a big part of it is the fact that Southampton have nice fixtures. And I think if I'm going to go for a Southampton option, I have considered Armstrong, considered Ward-Prowse, I've considered Shea Adams. Danny Ings is the one that scores the goals. You've just got to look at last season, and while I think there's a potential for him to regress, he won't score as many as last season. He's still the main man there. So if I'm going to go for a Southampton option because I think their fixtures are that strong, then I think I have to go for Ings. With Werner, a lot of it's to do with, I think Chelsea will be a threat this season, and Timo Werner should be the one, especially with his goal scoring record, that gets a lot of the goals. So it's kind of a gamble because he might not hit the ground running, but it's a gamble that doesn't seem like a risk because of how many people are bringing him in. So I'm definitely willing to take that risk. And then Mitrovic, I think, is the best option at the 6 million price range. If I had a little bit more money, maybe 6.5, then maybe I'd consider someone else. But I think at 6 million, Mitrovic is the best option. And Fulham's fixtures aren't terrible, despite the fact it's Fulham coming up. And I think, again, Mitrovic is the man that will score the goals. If you look at last season, the goals weren't spread around. Mitrovic got the majority of the goals. So I'm very happy with the front three. And I've struggled to change it, even though I have wanted more money elsewhere. I've struggled to change that front three.
Sensible.
Yeah. I would be the same, but it's the same with me. I've got Kane and Werner up front. I've got a small potential plan in mind where I may drop Kane for Mitrovic, have 5 or 5.5 of them. I think it's 5.5 in the bank for game week 2 to then upgrade Susek to Fernandes. So then I would have Fernandes, Son,
That's a lot of money in the bank.
Aubameyang. Yes,
The best I've got is 2 million in the bank with one of
I've
my
got 2.5 now.
Do it, Steve-O. Do it.
So
If it works,
As a
mate.
rival, do it.
but
Right.
to be fair, it's
Look,
a
all
case
Souček
of,
has to do is score one goal against Newcastle, and it's a good move.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's definitely possible.
And it's Fernandez
and
versus
Harry Kane not to get 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. It's Fernandez, Mitrovic versus Kane and Susek. And if you were to put up a poll, I can guarantee you now that Fernandez and Mitrovic will come out on top 80% at a random game.
I think that Tottenham Everton game is going to be a cracker.
Do you think?
I think so, yeah. Because I think Everton might be quite surprising now with these midfield signings they've done. Allen.
That's definitely a better midfield. It
You
might
know,
take time
Rodriguez,
to gel,
I mean, it might take time to gel, but I think they're not going to be dominated as much in midfield now. And I think it could be a bit end-to-end.
Well, what I can say is that based on the Everton correspondent for Planet FPL, he thinks that none of the signings will be playing
Really?
in game week 1 because
it took you a while to manage to get in Planet FPL there. I watched the captain.
It's been 47 minutes.
Got him in very quickly.
It's been 51 minutes.
Well done.
But he made the point that he thinks that Ancelotti learnt from his mistakes last season, from what I remember, and he wants to use the players that he's using in the pre-season, go into game week 1 and slowly bring in the players that he has brought in. He doesn't think they'll start. Now, here's the caveat. This show was recorded on, I think, something like the 31st of August before any signings were made and was released a few days later. I still think, though, this particular individual, the correspondent, would probably still have the same point of view. I would think, because he was very adamant, and he thinks that Tottenham are going to batter Everton. He thinks that they're going to have a lot of fun. I personally think that Kane could be top goal scorer this season as well. Based on, again, Project Restart, he was the top scoring striker, I believe he was, across the 9 games. I think he scored 7 goals or something like that. And I'm looking at Kane and thinking, you know what? And it was something, I don't know if FPL Dave's still watching, but on his new series, 8 Simple Rules, he had the first guest on was FPL General, and he made a point, go with proven FPL players. And it's unlikely, but I could downgrade Werner to say Mitrovic as an argument's sake, because Mitrovic has kind of proven himself in the Premier League before. And like JNO said, he did really well when he first came up. He's got a couple more years experience now in him. And again, he's the talisman. They've got really good fixtures upcoming, and these things that I'm listening to, it's worth learning to. In fact, I've spoke to Jace earlier on about Fantasy Scouts Black Box that they did with Mark Southerns and they made this point. They just said, if you're going to be picking players, pick players that you know that when you hear the goal alert go off, for example, Tottenham, and you just know it's either going to be Kane or Son. So why would you bring in Ali as a simple point of view? And you just listen to this, you get this basic advice, and you're like, you know what, makes sense, completely agree with it. And yeah, there's just bits and pieces to tinker around with, but it's like Jay said, could be the year of the strikers. It could be, because the majority of teams are very similar to JNOs in the sense of we've all got 2 premiums, and then the rest is just budget midfield players. In this case, Susek. And I can't quite read who that is there. Obviously, there's Gordon. Now, he's somebody, JNO, 4.5. I think it's a really sensible pick, to be honest with you. Obviously, you've got him. You must be confident.
I mean, again, he's bench fodder, but as far as the information I've been able to get, he looks like he could break out this season. I do worry, of course, there was more certainty with that when Allen hadn't signed and Rodriguez hadn't signed.
Yes.
Which is now a worry. But the correspondent from Planet FPL says he thinks they're going to start the season off with Gordon, or start the season off with the players that have played in pre-season. So potentially he's not a bad pick for the start of the season. And I think a lot of what I want to do is be ready to bring in the good, cheap players. Because I think I missed out on a lot of good, cheap players early last season. So whilst I do have planned moves for the big hitters, I also want to be able to, if there is suddenly a really good £4.5 million option or a really good 5.5 million midfielder, be able to react and get them in. Because I think I missed a few boats last season, or trains, as most of the FPL community says, that would have really helped my season. So I think a lot of what I want to be able to do is react, which is why the one issue I have with this draft and the improvement with the Son draft is I think with the Son draft I had 0.5 in the bank, so at least I wouldn't be priced out early. This draft I have no money in the bank, which I'm not too fond of. But I still think Doherty could be a great pick, and I kind of want to balance out the big hitters, defence, midfield and up front. And I think you've got Ings and Werner, who should do well, hopefully. Salah and Aubameyang, who of course are easy to downgrade to all the other options that there are. And then in defence, Doherty and Trent. So I feel like I've got options in every single area of the pitch. So we'll see. It will change most likely because I know what I'm like. But Gordon was one I had high hopes for. It's now a bit less, unfortunately, because of the signings.
Well, a player that scored today, and I've heard a lot of talk about the fact that I believe he's playing up front for Crystal Palace. It's Zaha. 7 million he scored today. I tell you what, from game week 5, I mean, you could have him from game week 3, really. Just a sea of green. And if he's playing up front, would that tempt you at all, JNO? Zaha? 7 million?
I have a history with Zaha, so it would tempt me. There was a season where I managed to pick Zaha at the absolute correct time. And again, it was a surgery joke that I wrote the book on Zaha because I always seem to bring him in at the right time. And then I've just not bring him in for ages since then. So he's definitely someone that would interest me, but I need some convincing now. It's been a while since I've had any kind of inkling towards Zaha.
I like to stir the pot. I like to cause controversy. And, we've got a content creator, Nathan Bacon, essentially saying you're copying his team. What's going on, JNO?
Well, look, I tried to create beef before, so now I'm trying again. Maybe I've got a new opponent now.
I've just added as well a countdown timer for the callers, so the callers can see exactly when we're going to start. So this is going to be when we start the call. So in 6 minutes' time, we'll be starting take some calls from you guys. And then once we take the first call, as soon as the caller comes on, I'm going to start a timer. All right. So you guys can all, and then we're going to do the one question format. But what do you reckon, guys? 3 minutes max?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
People, yeah.
Yeah, 3 minutes maximum per caller, and the timer is now going to be on the screen. There we go. This is a great opportunity if you are new here and you're not aware of what we do. We pretty much stream every day, well, every other day, and next week is going to be it's going to be crazy. So we're going to be Steve-O during the day, going to be myself during the evenings. We're going to have callers on. We're going to have meltdowns. Road to 5,000 subscribers as well. We are now approaching 4,500 subscribers. If you aren't subscribed, why the hell not? I mean, come on, this is quality entertainment right here. I mean, Steve-O's going to go mental when he sees my score game week 1. You can't miss that. Hit the notification bell and follow us on Twitter as well, at Elite FPL. Now, over 55% of all the people that tune into our show aren't subscribed, and about 20% of the subscribers hit the notification bell. That means that only 20% of the subscribers get notified when we go live. So if you want to make improvements to our analytics, then just simply press that bell, and also hit the like button as well. There you go.
Yes, hit the like button. If you're enjoying this right now, hit that like button.
Your percentages are better than mine. Damn it!
Do you know John Nellis, JNO? He does the odd FPL stream with, I think he did General, he's done Davey FPL. Do you know?
I've heard of him.
Mainly does Football Index and stuff, but I'll just do his line, which is the usual line of can you believe that's a terrible Irish accent.
Oh my God, Steve-O, we're trying to get subscribers.
I was going to say, this isn't a great segue.
There's almost 400 people watching us, and only 24 people have liked the stream. Can you believe that? John, if you're watching,
hang on. What's that? So Ireland's called. They want their accent back. Right, yeah, it's moving on. Yeah, cease and desist. We're going to get a takedown order. Less than 4 minutes until we get our first caller on. Who will be our first caller if Firetog...
It would be Maverick. Maverick,
okay, cool.
who came in, he was first in the waiting room. But
Cool.
let's just quickly ask JNO one more question, which is quite simply let's get your predictions for the season, JNO. Let's go with your top four. Who do you think is going to win the Premier League?
Man City will win the Premier League.
Second?
I think Liverpool still, but I think it's going to be close between them and third.
And who is that third spot?
At the moment, Chelsea.
Yes. All right.
Where does Man United fit into this?
Yeah.
Fourth.
Oh, you think four?
Oh, take fourth. I'll take fourth. I'll take fourth right now.
I think Tottenham are going to get fourth.
Don't get me wrong. Man United aren't many signings off of maybe fighting for that third. I don't think.
Forget Sancho.
If you get Sancho, it's definitely possible.
Relegation 3, then. Who do you think is going to go down?
I hate doing relegation. Palace. Palace would be one. I think one of the promoted sides of West Brom. Fulham, one of those two. And
so you think another Premier League established team?
It could be both. And I just don't know who I'd go if I wasn't going for both of those. So I suppose I am going West Brom and Fulham with Palace.
Who do you think is going to be not necessarily the first manager sacked, but name a couple of managers who you think are in trouble of losing their jobs? You can name as many as you'd like. I'll give you mine, for example. I'm going to go with Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, that's the first.
I was going to say, why take Hodgson from me? I was going to go Hodgson. I was expecting more from Newcastle in this transfer window, and while I think they definitely did improve at the tail end of last season, I do worry that they might have a bad start. So I could definitely see Steve Bruce going.
Oh, really?
If they don't have a good start, I don't think Newcastle will be patient. Who's got a really bad start to the season? Let me have a quick look. Villa don't have a great start to the season, do they? So maybe Villa.
It won't be Beasler, put it that way. Bielsa, whatever his name is.
Oh no, they have a lot to Bielsa. I can't imagine him not getting at least some time.
Oh yeah.
And I think they will be mid-table. I don't think it'll be much higher.
Do you think Leeds could do what Sheffield United did last year, be solid defensively and just be able to get the odd goal here or there? Because they could be the gems of this year. A lot of their players are all predominantly 4.5, specifically in defence. And I think they're a team that a lot of us are overlooking. And this Meslier in goal for them apparently is an absolute wonderful goalkeeper. And could he be the Dean Henderson of this year?
I think that it's definitely defence and goalkeeper that you need to be looking at. I don't, even with the signing of Rodrigo, I think the goals are spread about in that side. I just feel like attacking wise, even if they do score a lot, there's no clear-cut option or best option in that team going forward. I think defence is where you need to look. I think definitely their fullbacks can get some assists and some goals. And then, of course, you do have their keeper, who I've heard is really good. But I kind of want to wait and see just because of the start they've got. If they were given a more friendly start, then I probably would take a risk on one of them. But it is one of those situations where I think you might have to be very quick to get on one of them because they might rise in price quite quickly if they do have a good start.
We're now on to the callers. Are you ready? Are you ready to take some calls, JNO?
Hopefully. Last time we did this, I couldn't hear them for a bit, but we've tested it.
You will now.
We've tested it.
You will now. Okay, so 3 minutes is the time they have. Maverick, is it the right Maverick?
Yes, it is.
Right, okay.
One question only.
For the moment he speaks, Maverick, you're live on the stream. Are you there? You just need...
Hello.
Hello? Maverick. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah.
You got
I'm fine.
You got 3 minutes now. 2 minutes 50 to ask your question. What do you want to throw up on me? I was going to bring your team up on the screen. Go on then.
Yeah, so this is the first year doing the FPL.
First year.
So I have, Oba and Salah. I'm going to bring in Fernandes for Son. So I was just thinking that my midfield will be too strong and I'm not doing justice to other players.
Sorry, I completely missed that. What was that? Sorry.
I think my midfield is too strong and I'm not doing justice to other players.
Oh, I see. So he thinks that his midfield is detriment to the rest of his squad, despite the fact that actually his teams are good. JNO, you're the guest. You take it away. What do you think on that?
I can see why you're concerned, but I think the only reason you're concerned is because the strikers are such good value this year compared to most seasons. Because if I look at that side, I have no issue with, of course, Timo Werner up front. You've got Alexander-Arnold and Doherty in defence. So to be fair, you're only, I'd say, one striker less than me with one better midfielder than I have, unless we take Greenwood as being as good as Son. So I don't see necessarily an issue with it. It's all about whether you think the midfielders are going to be where all the points and value is.
If I was to rate that team, it would be a 6 out of 10. I mean. I'd give it higher than that. I'd give it at least a 7. Put it equal with what I got. But yeah, I like the team, and I can't see any issue with it, especially as it's quite capable of you moving transfers around. So if you hold a transfer, you could quite easily move to having another expensive forward. It's not like it's far off.
I was bringing Fernandes in for Son in Gameweek 2.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think that changes the balance of your side. So I still think you've got a very good side there. And then 4 or 5 game weeks in, you can always make the decision to maybe weaken your midfield slightly to strengthen elsewhere. So I don't necessarily think you're detrimenting the rest of your team, because you've still got a very good goalkeeper. I think Ramsdale will be good value, even at 5 million. I think you've got Doherty and Alexander-Arnold. Again, I think they will get you a good amount of points, and you've got Timo Werner. So I don't think necessarily that team looks that weak. I mean, starting Stevens in game week 1, I'd maybe not be too fond of myself. You're
setting yourself up for problems there, mate, in my opinion. I don't like Wijnaldum, don't like Stevens, don't like Obafemi. Your bench is you got Vinagre and again James ? Could be someone that plays. I don't know.
But it's not too far off, is what I'd say.
Yeah, you're nearly there. You're nearly there. But Wijnaldum's looking to go, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking about Saint Maximin.
You say Maximin, yeah. You're starting to look at more of what teams that we normally see on here. Really, those sort of. I like people that do things differently, but this is a bit too out there for me. Too much. I think you're going to cause yourself a headache, and you're going to be regretting those picks personally. But yeah, best of luck. You're out of time. Hope you got the answer what you wanted, buddy. Thanks for coming on the show, Maverick. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Maverick, everybody. We'll be moving on to the next caller. Would you like to pick someone, JNO?
No, we're doing it in order, aren't we? So it's Dino, if he's still there. Is he still there?
Dino Bino,
yes,
from the moment you speak, you have got 3 minutes to ask a question to the panel. How are you today, mate?
Worry. I'm fantastic, gents. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking.
That's 30 seconds gone.
Yeah, actually, it was 9. It was 9. But what I wanted to do is rate my wildcard team for me. I'm going to go with the bench booster wildcard gamble. I've been horrendous with chips in the past. I'm not going to, as Steve has been saying for many shows, I'm just going to block out all opinions. I'm 100% going with this team at game week 1. And 100% going to the 100%. I will not change from this team on game week 1.
Can we get we'll get a bookmark of that and come on Sunday surgery. Yeah, absolutely, Dino. Okay, Martinez, Doherty, Van Dijk, Gomez. Oh, interesting. Ali. Aubameyang, Ward-Prowse, Mount, Nketiah, Ings, and Werner. Interesting picks. JNO, what's your initial thoughts?
And your bench boosting, on the first.
100%.
I've never even considered this move. It's a very bold strategy. I mean, I can't argue with Van Dijk and Gomez if they get a clean sheet. I still fancy Leeds to get a goal, though, in that game. Maybe still lose, but get a goal. Doherty, I like. Ali, I think, is an outside shout. If he does do well in that game, then... Can
I tell you why Ali? Ali had his 2 best seasons when they had a quality CDM in Wanyama. Wanyama joined them from Saints, and Dele Alli had his best 2 seasons. Højbjerg joining, he's going to do exactly the same for them. And that's why I don't reckon Saints are actually going to be as sound as everyone's saying, because they haven't replaced him at CDM. So I think he's going to be a massive change to the Spurs team and allow Dele Alli more space to push forward, not worry about tracking back. Højbjerg's just going to sit there and do all the dirty work. And I think Winks would be the person that takes the hit in the team. And that's the reason why I think Dele Alli would be a good asset.
Dino, mate, very quickly. Sorry, very quickly. I love the idea of bench boost in wildcard. I've actually said it's a good idea. But as we've discussed in the last few days, it's all about picking players that you know are nailed, are going to start, bar any injury. For me, Ali is a question mark. You don't know if he's going to start, if he's going to play. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of fixture congestion going forward for him as well. You got Nketiah, which is, again, is he going to be managed? Is he going to be guaranteed? And on a bench boost, you need those guarantees. Martinez, I mean, toss a coin.
I'm 100% sure they're all going to start.
If you are 100% sure, then go for 100%. It, my man. Go for it. You've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, and to rate my wildcard team, I posted that in the chat.
Oh, God, we got
quick,
two for the price of one.
That was my original question.
You're making me work. You're making me work. What's going on here? Wildcard game. Right, okay, here we go.
Yes, I like it.
I'm trying to stay. Yeah, go for it, man. I mean, they're not nailed, but go for it, man.
And you're a regular viewer of the show. We want you on game week 2 when you've done all this.
No worries. When I'm winning the league, I'll be back on. Don't worry.
Dino, mate, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes.
Take care, gents.
Speak soon, mate. Take care. A legend.
Right then, next caller is Red United, if they're still there.
Red United. Right, okay. Red United are now live on the stream. Let me just quickly get your team up. How you doing this evening, mate? You right? Reds, you there?
Good. You able to hear me all right?
Yeah, we are.
We can hear you.
Timer starts now. You got 3 minutes to ask a question. Your team is up on the screen. What do you want to say?
Perfect. So I'm going with the bench boost game week 1. This is my wild card team here in game week 2.
Okay, another bench boost. Okay, what's made you just really quickly? What's made you want a bench boost?
How do you guys think? Do I have too much value here with the attackers?
You're listening to the stream. You're not listening to the Discord. Just be very mindful of that. So there's about a 5-second delay between me speaking and you talking.
And me laughing.
That was good.
You got 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Got it. Sorry about that. First time on here.
It's okay, buddy. It's fine. No, I like the idea. Bench boost, and then wildcard. This is your wildcard team. What was your question? Sorry.
Too much into attack.
Yeah, do I have too much value in attack here?
Not with it. Wow, Aguero. It's a gamble in it. It's a gamble.
Yeah,
we know what he's.
That Aguero just seems a bit risky for me. Calvert-Lewin as well. Aguero for the start of the season. I definitely think Aguero is going to be important if he comes into the side, but I don't think taking the risk, because this is, of course, wildcard for game week 2, so we won't have any information, as we'll have Pep's information from his conference, but we know what Pep's like. So I like the team overall, the structure, but I do worry about a few of the picks. I'd say Aguero, Calvert-Lewin. I just don't think he's a natural finisher, so I always worry about Calvert-Lewin, but I do think the Everton side will be better. And then Zaha is a bit of a punt for me. He could do great, but he's a bit of a punt. Otherwise, I don't see any issues with that.
Why Zaha, Reds United?
Really just going with fixtures for the middle of the season, kind of game weeks 5 onwards, just to save some transfers there.
Okay. Okay.
It could definitely work, but I wouldn't risk it. That's my personal
That's
opinion.
it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
Nice one, Reds United. You'll
Thank
hear
you
that
so
in
much
20
for coming
minutes.
on. Appreciate that. Appreciate you coming on.
I love seeing JNO giggle. It's fantastic.
I just love how unapologetically yourself you are. You just like,
You've got to get through it, mate. You've got about 500,000 people here. Well, he's not there, so the next one is Akshay. I think he was on here the other day. Akshay.
He was. Akshay, you've got 3 minutes, Akshay. Let me find your team
Speak
very
to
quickly.
JNO.
Akshay, we've got JNO
Yes,
as a guest
yes.
on.
Say hello
Hey,
to
guys.
JNO.
Hey guys, I'm doing great. I'm the 3 a.m. caller from the last time around.
There's no
And,
4 a.m.
So what time is it now?
It's almost 3. I'm 15 minutes early actually.
Good Lord. Wow.
So you
And
missed a
this
nocturne.
time I really took the suggestions that you guys gave last time, and it got me thinking. It was really the right suggestions that helped me. So I was told that I was taking too many risks, which I really realized. And I was also told by Steve-O that I hadn't planned enough for the further game weeks. Like what were the transfers that I was going to make further down the game week. So I tried and change a few of the players that I had. And that is the team that I finally went with. A few risks, but a bit more of a planning on how I'll change it slowly come the further game weeks. So I just need a brief on maybe how does it look now.
Yeah, I like it. I like the idea behind benching Calvert-Lewin. I mean, I think, with that Everton potential strengthening to the midfield, maybe they won't play game week 1, so there you go. They might play game week 2 and onwards. I think, it's a pretty fair rounded team. You're not really nerfed your team that much by having Calvert-Lewin on the bench. Pretty solid. Steve-O?
I like the look of it. I think that the majority of the players there are all first teamers, barring Vinagre. There is a chance. Just keep an eye out for the transfer news on that. I mean, JNO, you're someone that owns Vinagre. Are you concerned of his position?
I'll be concerned until the transfer window closes. But I'll keep an eye on it. And if he does seem to be the only choice they have, then he's a great way into that Wolves defence. I will just be a bit boring here, but it is about risk and reward at the start of the season. If you make a lot of risky decisions and it pays off, you're off to a flyer. Yes. But it can very easily go wrong. So this side looks good to me because I think no matter what happens in game week 1, you're not going to be too far behind anyone. And then it's all about adapting off of what you see in the first couple of game weeks. So I do like this side as well. And I think it's a side that you can definitely make the right transfers moving forward from.
Yeah, you still got the price points there that you can use. Yeah,
I have a 0.5 in the bank as well.
Yeah,
that's always good.
That's really good. I mean, the only concern for me would be how Chelsea start and not having any Chelsea and what your plans were. Obviously, you've got Son there, you can downgrade.
And I guess that is my concern as well. I don't think if I can trust them straight away because they've got 4 or 5 new signings. How are they going to gel in straight away? Some of them are new to the league as well. So I'd rather go with Son or somebody like an Ings who is already proven and have good fixtures at the start.
Yeah, I mean, I like the plan. I think it's a solid plan, man. Yeah.
Wow, just before maybe you cut me off, maybe I just wanted to say something to the users here, the viewers actually. Like if I guess 300, 400, 500 people listening, and it really is helping because you get views from you guys are doing great work, and it makes a difference. Like only 4 days before, I didn't realize what I was doing, and today you guys have actually put the right tick saying that it is a fine and a fair team. So I would really like you guys to keep on doing this great work, and I'm going to continue coming down 3 a.m. in the morning to watch the live streams, obviously.
That's commitment there.
It's just, thank you ever so much for being a part of the community and a part of our community and waking up or not even going to sleep, staying up till 3 a.m. I mean, that's dedication, dude. And thank you for just sharing your team with us.
I'm grateful. You guys are doing a great job, guys. Keep doing it.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much.
Cheers, dude.
A couple of the people in the chat were saying about 3 minutes is a bit short, and we're rushing the callers.
No. We're here every day. Don't worry about it.
If Wildcats, we have a quick fire round and it's literally 60 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, we got a bit of leeway. If the topic's going somewhere good, we'll give him an extra 30 seconds. Like, he was kind of, giving us feedback there, which was nice to hear. So, yeah. Thank you ever so much again, Akshay. Thank you ever so much, Noah Engstrom, for hitting that subscribe button. There we go. It worked, JNO. Flip that bit of paper up again. There we go. Keep it there.
You don't need to see my face.
Good time to say we are literally approaching 4,500 subscribers. We are trying to make it to 5,000 for Game Week 1. Could it happen? Who knows? 24-hour stream, Game Week 1. Steve-O's going to do it if we do it. There we go. Moving on, next caller, Steve-O.
FPL Eyebrow.
FPL Eyebrow.
Eyebrow.
How you doing, my friend? It's
Good,
your second time on the call, isn't it? So I spoke to you before.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. How are you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You've got 3 minutes on the clock. What have you got to ask?
Cool. I don't know. I think the screen's lagging, so I don't know if you have my.
No, I'm trying to find it, but I just want you to cut. There we go. I found it now. Oh, you're using Better FPL. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool app. It's a good app, man. So, anyway, I think it's quite balanced in terms of points across the different lines. I know it's controversial within the FPL community of having 2 sub goalkeepers. I know that part, but I think there's a couple. My question to you guys is there's like 3 positions right now that are kind of placeholders for me right now. One being Maitland-Niles, because I think like just given the last. The performance and the community shield, like I have a feeling that the reason why they didn't sell him is he wants to keep him, and I have a feeling they're going to be playing 3-5-2. So that's one position. The other placeholder is the ZH. I'm waiting to see whether Havertz what he's going to be priced at, and the third one is in Ketia or Mitrovic. And what my plan is, game week 2 is to take out Nketiah and Mitrovic and take a hit by taking one of them out and bringing in Martial and downgrading Salah up to Greenwood, down to Greenwood. And then I'll still have 2 or 3 million in the bank. And then by game week 3, getting KDB for Aubameyang. At least that's the plan. So the question is, out of those 3, what would you do with those positions? Maitland-Niles, ZH, and Nketiah. Which one would you change for game week 1?
Nketiah.
Well, I mean, if ZH is still injured, Nketiah surely has a better chance of playing than an injured player.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sure. I just heard Nketiah.
You just heard Nketiah. Like,
sorry, I'm not even paying attention. I'm really sorry.
I do like Maitland-Niles, though. I think there's a big potential for him to have a very good season, because it seemed like he was going Wolves, and then suddenly it just turned around and he's staying. So I definitely think there's a lot of potential in the Arsenal fullbacks. So I do like Maitland-Niles there. So I would say it really depends on if Ziyech is definitely out of the first game. But I would agree, if Ziyech was fit, then it would be Nketiah for me as well.
Yeah.
Although,
has there been any more news? Has there been any more news on Ziyech?
About Ziyech, no, but about Nketiah, he scored a hat-trick yesterday in the under-21 England game, which makes me think that there could be potential. But again, he's only there for 1 week. The other person that I could plug in there is Che Adams, right? Ziyech could be, because I have $1 million in the bank, he could go up to Son, Dele Alli, Havertz, whoever for that position. And then when I do the switch with Salah and Nketiah, those 2 go, and then you have Greenwood and Martial. At least that's a plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they start, they've got high potential to do well. Listen out for Ziyech news, really. I don't think he'll probably play, though, game week 1. If there's any doubt of his fitness, I think Lampard's got other options and he'll use them. But we're out of time. I thank you for coming on, and I hope to speak to you again, Ibro. You take care, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. There we go.
On to Fly Gods.
1 second. I'm just going to get a drink.
Okay, I will.
Well, in that sake, I've got my drink right with me. I was prepared. What is this?
I would say I could play on Fly Gods, but Fly Gods, if you're listening in, just unmute your mic. You'll be coming on in 2 seconds. Just waiting for Jason to come back.
Yeah, where's Fly?
You're gonna have to wait.
God. Where's his team? There it is. I'm gonna bring it up. Right, Fly Gods. I'm gonna get prepared before we bring the caller on. It's always better to do so. Right, Fly Gods. Here we go. Good evening, Fly Gods. You're live on the stream. How are you doing, my friend? Fly Gods, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfectly fine, yes. Your time starts now. What's your question, my friend?
Yeah, I like this team, but I just need to get 0.5 from somewhere. Because I'm going to play 4 million defender. It's either Mitchell's going to play, but I need to get 0.5 from somewhere. And do you think I can do Trent to Robbo? Because if Trent scores, that's 50% of the people having him.
Sorry, what are you trying to bring in?
I'm not trying to bring in anyone. I just want a 4.5 defender, but I need to get 0.5 from somewhere.
Okay, 4.5 defender.
So you want to get?
I need to play. I had to play Mitchell or Johnson for game 1.
JNO.
Oh, why would you give it to me first?
Yes, my friend.
I understand why. I understand why.
No, I'm locked in triple Spurs.
Triple Spurs.
Yeah.
That seems a bit much for me, but it could definitely work. I think there's the we're
Mourinho's second season. I think we're gonna start well. Mourinho's second season, yeah.
Okay.
Mourinho's second season at United, he won both games 4-0. West Ham and Swansea.
I think it's risky to start the season. That's my issue. But I can see why you're considering Robertson, because Robertson actually had a better project restart than Alexander-Arnold as far as attacking returns. I would be tempted for Souček. So I think a lot of those players that you've got there are nailed on starters that could do well. Souček, while I believe there's the quarantine issue, if he did start, he could definitely get returns, but it's possible that West Ham don't do anything against Newcastle. But then that leaves you very thin because you've not really got anyone on the bench that I'd be wanting to bring in for Souček.
Yeah.
If downgraded to say like a Gordon or a Anguissa or someone like that at 4.5 instead of 5 mil. So it's difficult.
How set you on Doherty? Because you could go down to Dyer.
Yeah, I know, but I think Doherty's going to score some goals. I really want Doherty. I don't think Dyer's going to do anything.
I think you're really restricting yourself by being
triple Spurs and triple Spurs with Doherty. So you got 2 premium defenders, triple Spurs with Aubameyang and Salah and Werner. I mean, you're basically realizing that the budget is just not quite there.
It's really not much leeway if you needed to suddenly change that side. I mean, you could always downgrade very easily, but it just feels very difficult to get 0.5 from that if you're set on Spurs.
Well, I could get 0.5 in Gameweek 3 if I go forward to Sterling, and then I could get. I just have to hope that Mitchell plays 2 games, I guess.
Yeah. You're hoping Mitchell plays, and and Souček, and for that matter.
I mean, I think Mitchell looks like he's going to play. I don't think Van Aanholt has come back with enough time that he'll be started in Gameweek 1. Gameweek 2, potentially that's a different scenario. But from everything I've seen pre-season, it looks like Mitchell will start. He's in my team, I believe, off the top of my head. So I think Mitchell will start Gameweek 1. But then I do worry that as soon as Van Aanholt's back, there's going to be a bit of an issue there. And you'll have to use a transfer for that because you're quite reliant on Mitchell there, as far as I can see from that side.
You're quite reliant on your starting lineup as well. You've not really got anything on the bench to fall back on. It's worth it if you set on it. I mean, if you set on those triple Spurs, you're basically going all in. You're gambling.
Pick which Spurs
it makes watching Spurs more entertaining.
I'd say just pick one of them and downgrade one. Just even if it's downgrading a defender, a Doherty to a Davis or Dyer. Just because you can still do triple Spurs, I just think you've picked the 3 that really take up a lot of your budget.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on though. Thank you so much.
Man.
Cheers, Fly. Take care, man. Speak soon.
Bye.
Let's bring on
Flying horse.
FPL tips.
Here he is, Mr. Tips. Good evening. How are you? FPL Tips, can you hear us? You're live on the show. Is he there? Is he there?
Don't start laughing.
Hello? FPL Tips, are you there?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Oh, perfectly. Yes. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. How are you all?
Yeah, no, not too bad also. JNO. Was about to answer that, actually.
Assume we're all good.
Yeah, all good, all good. Right, your time starts now, Mr. Tips. What have you come on to share with us? I've got your team up here.
Well, I've firstly come on to hopefully hear Steve do his Irish accent over again.
No.
That's the most important thing.
Well, that's 50 minutes gone, 50 seconds gone.
No, but in terms of my team, I think we've spoken about Dele Alli, who's one of my differentials quite a lot. The couple of players that I like a lot, who I don't see being picked a lot, are Chris Wood and then Mane over Salah. Chris Wood is one I am really interested in. I would love Steve-O's thoughts on him. I think if he's playing, he seems to be always involved in when Burnley do score.
Normally Rodriguez you like, isn't it, Steve?
I like them both, but Wood is more of the talisman. He'll be the one that just predominantly will stay up top. Rodriguez will come back and help defend. I'm kind of in agreement with you, Tips. I think that, again, I don't want to keep going on about it. It's just the fact that they have their correspondent Turfy Topper on, and he was making the point about Wood, and despite the fact that he only played X amount of games last season, he still returned, 12 goals, 15 goals, something like that.
It was,
season.
15 attacking returns in 29 starts, so for $6.5 million.
Yeah, I think that he's a solid pick, but from a Burnley fan perspective, I just don't think we score enough goals. I think there's better picks. In fact, I would take Antonio.
For the price point, it's quite good. What's that, a return every game on average?
I just think that there's better teams out there that score more goals than Burnley. That's all it is. Even Fulham, I reckon, could score more goals than us, but they're just very leaky. When you think Burnley, you don't think attack. You think defence. Personally, however, I do think that Chris Wood in this specific formation of a 3-4-3, I think works. I think it's all right. But Tips is a bit of it's a differential team, isn't it?
Yeah, it has turned out to be. I did have Salah over Mane, but then Mane's been doing well, so he came in. Adams, Wood, Ali, they're all quite big differentials actually. It has turned out to be. But I like it.
What's this sudden love of Ali? Like
I had him in, and I was looking at some stats on him and someone earlier said that the Højbjerg effect that it's going to have on him, and I do think that it will benefit him. And then I watched the Spurs documentary, and then I wanted two of them in, and then so that's that.
Okay. Do you feel that you might be jumping the gun a little bit on him without seeing him start of the season, or are you just thinking you're going to get ahead of the curve on it? You got
I could very potentially be jumping the gun, but I have enough in the bank, and I want Pulisic a lot. So that's an easy move for me if he doesn't hit the ground running.
JNO, your quick thoughts on Tips going with Mane over your boy Salah?
I'm actually more interested in Wood. If I could talk about Wood, if I was
carry on, mate. Yeah,
quickly say something. I think if you're thinking Wood for the rest of the season, like as a season keeper, then I think he's worth it. I don't think he's in a Burnley side, like Steve-O said. I don't think they necessarily scored lots of goals, but Wood over the season will be a very good goal scorer. And if I had 0.5 million, I'd be very tempted to have Wood over Mitrovic. So I actually really like the Wood pick. As far as the Salah Mane, I still have to go with Salah. I just think season long, Salah will outscore Mane.
Yeah, I think the Salah Mane is an interesting one. Thanks, guys.
FPL Tips, thank you so much for coming on the show, and don't forget you can come on to Sunday Surgery and let us know if you did end up having Wood or not. Cheers.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Before we get on our next caller, Jace, I want to ask JNO this question. It's just popped in my head because I just thought of it. a tactic that I thought of this morning, which is essentially have a team for the whole season of cheapies, which you know for fact that are going to do well across the whole season, i.e. you've just mentioned Chris Wood there, and having the odd premium player in your team, i.e. like Salah and Aubameyang, and another one, i.e. Werner. So the whole of your 11 team is like permanent throughout the whole season, but you switch out the premium midfielder attacker when they have a decent fixture. What do you think on that? Because there's so many people that, like we've just mentioned just there, that across a season this player could or should get X amount of goals, but we all know that's not how we play fantasy football. However, if we look at the tactic of actually having a set team of cheapies, but swapping out the premium players instead only, well, what do you think on that potentially for a season tactic?
That's really interesting, because this morning I was actually looking at my team to make sure I had my latest thoughts for this stream, and my consideration was to have, or at least try and get in as early as possible, the good cheap players that I would just then stick with. Have 2 premiums that I would, unless I'm wildcarding, then that would be the only time I decide to change, I'd stick with. And then I'll be looking at changing, say in my team, the likes of Ings, the likes of Werner, to get the players with the form and fixtures.
Yes.
And like just kind of focus on, say, 3, 4, maybe even 5, depending on how you want to play it. But have your team set, this is this half of my team. I'm only going to change this if I use a wild card, or if I maybe have a mini wild card with a hit, and then use my transfers on 3 or 4 positions, and then just try and pick the best players out of the options I have in those positions.
Yes. Yeah.
So I definitely think it could be beneficial, because the thing is, you could lose a lot of points if you get the calls wrong changing the premiums. You could get it wrong changing the cheap players. You could also get it wrong changing the mid-price players. So you could get it wrong everywhere. But if you focus on one area, then at least you benefit from the season-long points of certain players.
Because let's be real here, like certain players, i.e. the whole Salah versus Mane, always captain Salah at home, always captain Mane away. It's a simple example, right? You could, for example, using your tactic that you just said there, just go, do you know what? Each week, just swap out Salah and Mane and just captain, as just a simple example. Yeah. We had friend of the show, Charlie, last season. He would literally do a 4-point hit to bring in a player who he believed was the best captain choice for that week. And where did Charlie kind of end up, like overall rank during that period, like the first?
You had to know this off the top of your head.
It was in
the top 20k, I think.
Yeah, he was doing really well because of that basic tactic of just having a core team.
He do similar things. He takes the best captain option, so he'd deliberately make sure he had who he considered the best captain, and then chase the big points from the captain.
Yeah.
I've got this little voice in my head that talks to me every now and again about fantasy football. And you know, the whole thing is about the bench boost wildcard idea that's been mentioned earlier on today and over the last few days. Well, and people are obviously worried about wasting the wildcard, obviously without knowing too much, and obviously with the current situation and blah, 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 blah. I mean, if you're going to bench boost game week 1, and then you're going to load up on Man City or United, and you're probably going to captain someone from Man City, I would imagine. So could it be consideration bench boosting and then taking a -8, -12 and then it paying off? That's like a mini wildcard.
That's pretty much what James is doing on Planet FPL. He said, I'm attacking game week 2. He said he's going to do it.
How many times? I mean, I've done it in the past where I've taken a -12, -16 and it's absolutely smashed it out of the park. Like the players that took out have failed.
It depends on the players you're bringing in, I think. And if you're bringing in premium players that over time will definitely score you the points, then a hit isn't an issue, in my mind. It's an issue if you're bringing in, like, if you're taking a punt on, I don't know, say, Matías Pereira from West Brom, then I'd suggest you don't take a hit to bring him in. But if you're taking a hit to bring in a KDB, who for me I'm likely to captain game week 3, game week 4, and game week 6. Then a hit makes sense, because if he does anything in those games, the minus is going to make sense. I think a lot of people look at a minus and only look at the game week after they've taken that hit, and that's not how you need to focus on it, because if that player is going to go and score 50 more points than the player you're taking the minus for early on in the season, then of course it's worth it, because that's 46 points more than you would have got.
Yeah, I think the bench boost -8, -12 could be more, for me, more of an option than the wild card, definitely.
Well, let's bring on the next caller, Billy FPL, because he's doing exactly that, the bench boost and wild card, yeah.
What a segue there. Well done.
Yeah.
Billy FPL is bench boosting wild card.
I think a lot of people look at a minus.
Could you just mute the stream for me, Billy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Billy, as much as I love to hear myself talking.
Can hear JNO.
Could you just
Sorry,
mute your...
yeah, just muting it. Hang on. There you go. Sorry, I'm on the 5-second delay, I think.
That's fine, Billy. No worries. Can you just make sure you're listening to us on Discord? I've got your team. I've got your
I
team.
will next time, but my headphone set's buggered, so sorry.
Right, are you listening to us on Discord, or are you listening to us on the stream?
On the stream.
Oh. Okay. You got three minutes to talk about your team and ask your question.
So I'm going to risk it for a biscuit, and I'm going to go for the bench boost game week 1 and then the wild card game week 2. My question is, of all the players you see, do you think they'll mostly start, or do you see anybody that's potentially not going to start?
JNO.
I was going to say Zuma straight off the bat. That's literally the one that's shouting at me. I think everyone else looks like a starter. I mean, there's worries over Justin, but I still think for
worries
now...
over Souček as well.
Yeah, worries over Souček.
Yeah,
Souček, quarantine.
Fredericks even.
Yeah, because everyone a lot of West Ham fans think Johnson could win that place. The one that really worries me is Zuma.
I think if you didn't have Salah in that team, if you're going to bench boost, I think you can't go with the 2-12. If you're going to do the bench boost wild card, and then you can have Werner in, I would be getting rid of Salah 100%.
Yeah,
and then using that money to spread.
My concern is that everybody pretty much has got Salah, and I don't want to be left behind, so that's why I've got him in and haven't.
He's not going to be scoring today, no need to worry about that.
Fair enough.
I might terrible.
Liverpool.
I know Steve likes to predict who doesn't and does score, but I think it is a safe option to just have Salah in case, because so many people will own him and a lot will captain him.
Well, in that case, get rid of Aubameyang and then use that money instead to free up and improve the rest of your bench boost. Because, to be honest with you, that's just 100 million in the bank and the budget. It's not a lot of money, and you really need them. That
make a bench
0.51 million extra.
Make a bench of 3 players that will score the same amount as Salah, and then or more, because then it makes sense.
Go for the defenders that are worth the 5 million, the 5.5 defenders, that they're worth the value, I think, on a bench boost. And I think the money locked in midfield there with Aubameyang and Salah is dictating what you can and can't do. And I think just release that money from one of the two. If you're going to captain Salah, then get it from Aubameyang.
With Aubameyang, or vice versa. Yeah.
That's good advice. Yeah, I think I might double up on the Liverpool defence and perhaps take
if I was bench boosting, I would definitely double up on the Liverpool defence and then use the money elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's sound advice. Great channel, guys. Second time tuning in. I'll be tuning in again.
Second time tuning in, and you've come on air.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What other
awesome,
channels
man.
do you get that on? So why are you not subscribing? Come on.
I have subscribed.
Have you hit the notification bell?
Have you hit the notification bell?
I'll be checking that out.
Yeah, mate.
Anyway, greetings from Portugal. Speak to you again.
Oh, mate. Thank you ever so much, and enjoy the sunshine. Cheers, dude.
Take care, guys. Ciao.
All the best.
Let's
Billy
bring on
FPL there.
friend of the show, the defender, Jace.
Oh, here he is. The defender's on air. Is it going to be an interesting team? Let's have a quick look. The defender.
Hello.
How's it going, mate? You right?
Yeah.
I said, is it going to be an interesting team? Steve-O shot me down and said no. But you've got Martial on the bench. So to me, that is an interesting team.
Yeah, so what I'm doing right now, I'm just waiting for the Havertz prize. And the Pulisic slot is for him. So I'm going to play Havertz instead of Pulisic there. And as you see, Martial on the bench. And what I will ask you later is, because my plan is to wait to, let's say, game week 2, game week 3, and see if Pulisic is fit. And downgrade Son to Pulisic to go triple Chelsea. Because then I have two game weeks to see if it's worth it. What do you think about? Is this crazy?
Well, I don't think it's crazy. No, I mean, JNO, what do you think of this idea of getting rid of Son for Pulisic and later a couple of game weeks down the line and having Havertz there, so it's like a double up of Chelsea.
Triple up,
of Chelsea. You're that confident in Havertz, are you, defender?
Yeah, I think not many people is talking about him. I mean, he's doing great in Bundesliga as Timo Werner, and I think he will go a lot forward as his playing style. I think actually Ziyech is going to get less points because of the assister to assister, and I think Havertz will be really lethal in the box.
JNO, how much do you think Havertz will come in at? 8.5, 9?
I'd imagine because Pulisic is 8.5, I think Havertz will come in at 8.5. I believe. I personally think there'll be a lot of value in this Chelsea side, but with Havertz and with Ziyech, I worry the midfielders are going to share the points. Like that's a great three midfielders behind Timo Werner. If you look at Pulisic, Havertz, and Ziyech, and I'm banking on Werner being the one that really moves on from there because he's got those three players behind him, and then he's going to be the one scoring all the goals. So I do worry that a triple up on Chelsea might actually be a bad move to make because the points are too spread out. I definitely think there's value there. I think Havertz is a player I like. Ziyech is a player I like. Pulisic was a player I was really interested in when the game started. So I think that's a great free behind the striker. But I just worry it's kind of almost like the Man City effect where you might have to just pick one and accept the fact that that's the one you're going with for the season because the points could be spread about. So although the fact of the matter is Chelsea players are significantly cheaper than the Man City ones. So I'd be a lot happier with the points being spread about cheaper players than I am with the Man City options. But that is my worry with the Chelsea triple up. I'll probably still have a double up at some point in the season though.
Yeah. Thank you for the answers.
Mate, thank you,
defender.
Cheers, defender. Long-term support of the show, mate, and I look forward to
at a time as well. I like how he's like, "Thank you," at about 5 seconds. Well done, mate.
All good, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Take care, buddy.
Okay, up next is Paul's. He's up at 21.47, Jace. Oh, Paul S. So 21.47, Jace. His team is at, and welcome to the show, Paul S.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
You with myself, JNO, and Jace. You got one question, 3 minutes. What do you want to ask JNO, mate?
Okay. So my question concerns my team. You can see I'm not going for Liverpool defenders. Hello?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
We're just listening to you, mate. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going for Liverpool defenders at the start of the season because at the moment they're not keeping a lot of clean sheets, and so I plan on bringing them a bit later on. So what do you think about that tactic? Is it going to hurt my ranking a lot?
think very quickly to answer your question on that. A lot of people don't really see Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson as conventional defenders, so to speak. So when you've got the likes of Keita in your team, obviously he plays further back in the field, on the field, and you've got Trent bombing forward, he's on set pieces, or corners. I mean, the potential for an assist is very high from both of the fullbacks with Liverpool, the way they play. So they look at that price point of 7 million, 7.5. That's really good value for money in FPL terms. So you price per points, it's really good. So really a clean sheet for these two is a bonus. That is essentially it. Your team looks good, but it's the Keita pick really for Liverpool for me. Lascelles could end up being okay for you. JNO and Stevo, going without Liverpool defence and having the money in midfield. Thoughts,
Jay?
I mean, you pretty much took most of what I'd say out of my mouth there, because the thing I would maybe change is Doherty to Trent, because you already have Son. Because I'm not too fond of having too many Spurs players early doors. Keita is the one that I worry about there. And I don't see Trent and Robertson as traditional defenders. I see them as players that are likely to get attacking returns just because of the way Liverpool play. And then if they also get a clean sheet, that's a double-digit score for them for that game week. So I really don't like drafts without one. And I'm very tempted myself to go for both and then just forget the rest of the Liverpool side. So, I mean, I can't sit here and say to you that I like not going with Liverpool defence, because I really think one is essential. And I don't like using the word essential, but I think one is essential.
Paul, this draft kind of strikes me as someone that's fairly new to FPL by that Keita pick, only because I fell into the same mistake twice. Because let's be honest, people who get into the game, they look at good players, but they don't know necessarily the good FPL players, because there's a difference. How long have you been playing for, Paul?
This is my second season.
Okay.
And last year.
And where did you finish last season, if you don't mind me asking?
Just above the top 1 million, just 900,000.
Okay, so you're taking it. So did you take it seriously, or are you taking this season more seriously than last?
Yeah, I'm taking this season more seriously.
Yeah,
I mean, but top million's not a bad finish for your first season.
No,
that's a good finish. I've had some. If you look at my record before I started taking it seriously and doing a lot of work on it, I had seasons at 2.2 million. Like, I'd start and then I'd just stop, and it was literally the World Cup in Brazil where I managed to win my mini league dream team against my mates, and then I started taking it seriously, and then I saw a big improvement. But so that rank for the first season is really good.
With the Keita pick, I was wondering, since Henderson is still potentially injured, and Gini could be leaving this season, so I was thinking maybe this could be Keita's, season to really break out. And
but it could be
my counterpoint would be he doesn't have them around him, so surely that weakens the Liverpool midfield. He's already.
Is he an assist of an assister? Is there another thing as well you need to consider? Is he going to be the one that's going to get you those FPL points? Because that's what the likes of people bringing in Souček, because he's a top player for his club, very important for his club. I know Keita is as well, but he has been getting FPL points, and St. Maximin is another one for Newcastle. He is a player that's going to return, or is expected to return, FPL points. Keita, for me, great player, but he's not one that is familiar with returning constant, consistent FPL points. You're going to be getting 3 points from him, and at a price point. What is he? Is he 5.5? 5 point? What is he? 5.
Yeah, 5.5.
Yeah, I think St. Maximin. I mean, you've seen him in a lot of drafts because he's more of an attack-minded player. Keita is CM. He's will he be really getting in the box, getting in the assists, getting the goals? That is a question you got to ask yourself. I don't think that is the case. Therefore, he's not on my radar in midfield. But yeah, you're not for your second season. You're not far off really a really good team there. But just consider that. I think Kaitis is some maximum, and you're nearly there.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for coming on, Paul. You take care, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, we've got 4 more callers left, and we've got a few minutes left of the show. May as well get through all 4 of them, starting with, Benji, Jace.
Oh, Benji, yeah. Repeat caller. Benji's actually been very active in Discord of late, as Benji. I've seen him in the Hangouts. Benji, would you like to be my guy that plugs our Discord? Discord being what?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, I joined a couple of days ago. Not a couple of days ago, probably 4 days ago. And since then, I've had so much banter. I've had so much, new friendships just pop up. Shout out to Vince. He is the best banterer I have ever talked to. So yeah, this Discord, it brings friendships. So that's the best selling point that I could give it.
For me, I don't work with anyone that plays fantasy football. My family, they don't play fantasy football. I can't talk in my household about fantasy football. So if I didn't do this stream, where would I talk to people about it? And that would be somewhere like
your
Discord.
Escape.
Yeah,
it's sort of like your escape to, take out daily life and come in and just hang out with people that are like-minded people and love football, not just FPL but love football. Like, we were talking about kits last night, and we were just having like a wild of a time. So yeah, one biggest selling point is friendship and sort of like your escapism to something that's actually really nice.
I'm going to annoy JTS Productions, but I just want to say, you guys, you need to understand how hard it is to run a Discord on top of doing regular streaming content and videos on YouTube. We have tried, me and the Wildcats, and I would say the Discord that Elite FPL have is amazing, and it's more work that they're doing for you guys. So I've got to just take my hats off to you guys for the community you've built on Discord.
Yeah, and also shout out to the moderators, by the way. They're all really insane. Like, Fire Talk's on point tonight. I said it to him, and shout out to all the moderators.
We've been very lucky from day one that we've been surrounded by people who care about what we do, the community that we have made, and they take time out of their day to just keep it ticking. And like you said, I mean, the moderators are the key to a great community, and JNO's promoting it. There we go, JTS Productions. If you're still watching, the cringe is continuing because we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button and hit that bell. The time hasn't started yet, but it will in a second. And hit that like button too. If there's a dislike, I'm sure that's probably it's probably a friend that we just lost. There we go, 10 dislikes. There we go.
It's my mate.
Moving on, Benji. Let's go.
Yep.
3 minutes.
So I got my team up there. The first one's my team, and the second one was the question to Steve-O. I also have another mini question for both Jason and JNO. So my first question is about the second team that I put in there, and I know that Steve-O has no Salah, so I basically put a draft up of my team without Salah or Mane, because I'm sort of worrying about them. So I've made 2 drafts, one without, one with. I was going to ask Steve-O, what value do you think that Trent and Robbo has over having 12 million in Salah? What do you think the value is there? Why do you think it's so valuable?
Because those 2 alone are going to get you 200 points apiece, whereas with the options that I personally have, or even you in this case, will have to captain a player ahead of Salah is too much there. I just don't think Salah, for me, over the last, and I include the Community Shield, I'm going to include today's first half that he played. I'm sorry, but 12 million for a player that does, so close to swearing.
Yeah, I totally
Nothing.
have.
Waste
I totally
of
have
space.
the same.
I'll happily eat my words. You know, I will hold my hand up and go, oh my goodness, Salah scored a brace against Leeds. He got a couple against Chelsea. What have I done? But the reality being, I've said it from the start and I'll say it again. I'm going with my own gut decisions, and what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, Salah's just not cutting it for me at the moment, and I'd rather take someone like Aubameyang, Fernandes, Son, Kane, Werner.
So many people are keeping them in their team because they're scared. They're scared of the ownership. And that's the main reason that people are keeping him in their team. And I think as long as he's in your team, you're going to be hovering that captaincy button over his head as well.
Yeah. It's understandable. Like, don't get me wrong. I get why, like Jace made the point about the safety option being Salah. It's just a defensive block. But for me, no, not at all. I mean, I'll ask JNO. You are a big advocate of Salah. Are me and Jason mad?
I wouldn't say you're mad at all. Like I started off the stream saying I'm definitely considering double Liverpool defence because unless you're going to captain Salah all season, and unless he has a season where he will score, say like the seasons previous, where it's around the 300-point mark, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold could get you 400 points for about 2.5 million more. And then you're now free to put your captaincy armband on the likes of Aubameyang, on your KDBs, on your Sterlings, on your Werners if Werner kicks off. Vardy, he had that period last season where you could captain him and be very reliable as a goal scorer. So there's players you are then free to captain without that Salah player being there. And you know for a fact that you're still going to get, in total, more points. I don't think Salah can outscore the combination of Robertson and Alexander-Arnold this season unless something drastically changes that I can't foresee. So I completely understand the logic behind it. I would just say for the beginning of the season, because the Man City and Man United options aren't there, it is worth considering Salah at the beginning. But I really think this is the first season where I will see Salah as expendable unless he suddenly proves he's back to the form of previous seasons where he was the top point scorer.
And Benji,
this is the thing. Just very quickly, I just want to ask the chat as well, because I know a lot of people in the chat. I mean, I see Craigan's in the chat going, "Good luck, going Salah-less." Question for Craigan in the chat.
Here we go.
Question for Craigan in the chat. How many games will you give to Salah before you consider dropping him? If he plays Fulham, does nothing, you've captained him, and you've got yourself 6 points. Someone that's gone with the Aubameyangs possibly got double that, or maybe even more. How many games will you give him? Are you gonna live on that good memories of previous seasons? Liverpool fans, I don't want to disrespect it, but we're going on the eye test, and it's not giving any indication that he's up to speed. People saying he's going to hit the season run, he's going to be fine, but come on, let's get real now.
I did with Kane the exact same thing, because there was a season when Kane was on fire and really cheap. The season after, he had a bump in price, was still on fire. Then there was the season after, and for about half the season, I was like, Kane will come good, Kane will come good, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Are you willing to wait?
How many people in the chat can hold their hands up to say that they have been stubborn with a player? Again, are we being stubborn when we hear people say, I'm not going to go without Salah because, I know what he's capable of? I mean, let's be honest, the majority of people will have him in their teams. And a lot of people will captain him.
Well, Matt Stitter is saying, I just want to point out that a lot of people are looking at Salah's first half performance today. Salah always plays worse without TAA. Well, he played with him throughout the Project Restart. Did nothing then. he's not for me.
No,
Not for
I mean,
Jason,
and that's the thing. We respect everyone's decisions, and
Of course,
in turn, I just expect you guys to respect people that come on the show's decisions, but not bringing them in their team.
Yeah, the logic is there. I'm sorry, the logic is there. It makes sense. You can't deny the logic of two Liverpool defenders that have that point scoring record as a different option than having Salah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't deny that logic, and it would be wrong for anyone to suggest that on form. But of course, the season hasn't started yet. We're going on assumptions. I mean, Salah could be saving it. Like people are saying, he could be saving all of his energy for Game Week 1 and Leeds, where he batters them. Anyway, thanks you for coming on, Benji, man. Thank you for supporting us, and speak to you again probably in Hangouts.
Yeah.
Cheers, dude.
Incredibly, Bilal has been a fan of the show for a very long time. I think this is potentially the first time he's ever been on air. I think.
I don't know. I think he's been on air the early days, didn't he not?
No, I don't think so, but we'll find out now.
We could ask him, yeah. Bilal, I've seen you in the Discord for many years, well, quite a long time now, probably since the start. Is this the first time you've called in? Because Steve-O thinks it might be.
Yes, it is.
Hey!
Wow.
Steve-O, that's a memory.
This season.
Why today? Why today, Bilal?
Why not? Who's on?
Well, I've been discussing loads of people in Discord have been quite interested by my plan for Game Week 1. I thought I'd share my ideas with you.
Mate, let's hear these ideas. You got 3 minutes. Go for it.
Well, you might as well look at my bench first.
Yep, Fernandes, Martial.
You're a brave man, Bilal.
Yeah, I just like...
Well, you really don't think Salah's going to do anything first game, do you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. I think saving transfers with these United players is always good, and because you never know what happened after Game 1 if some big hitter will get injured and I decided to go with United, go full in, and even if it doesn't work, I still got most other template players like Aubameyang and a few others, so I think it should still work out well.
Why do something like this? Why do something like this as opposed to taking a few transfers to bring them in after Game Week 1 and having a slightly stronger team?
To be honest, when I started last season, I took quite a few hits at the start of last season, and then by the end of Game Week 10, I was like 2.5. It was a strategy that just didn't work for me, personally.
That's a fair point. Okay.
Yeah. I also had one other mini question. One thing that I really seemed to struggle with last year was goalkeeper picks. In terms of I'd pick a goalkeeper that wouldn't get any clean sheets, and then as soon as I got rid of them, they'd get a few clean sheets with maybe some harder fixtures, and then the goalkeeper I went on to who had the easiest fixtures just seemed to concede 3 against, I don't know, a rubbish team, for example.
No, I mean, quickly. I mean, I look at this team and I see Martial and Fernandes in it, and I expect the team to look awful, and it doesn't. So, you've got some players in.
That's what I like about the team so much, because even with Barnes and Pereira, I mean, fine, Pereira is a bit of he has some good opening fixtures, and they can.
And you've still got Mitchell on the bench that will possibly.
And then I'll still cover. Yeah, I can cover them. Basically, Salah's points if both of them get an attacking return, and Salah if gets 1 goal and assist, for example.
Sorry, Steve, are you going to ask JNO something?
Yeah, JNO, this goalkeeper dilemma everybody has, is it just for you? Just get the goalkeeper that you think plays for the best defensive team and just stick with them throughout the whole season?
Pretty much. It's find the 4.5 that looks like they're most likely to get the clean sheets, and then if it's not going right for you at the wild card, that's when you change it.
Yes.
Because if you change and chase the 4.5s, and it was the same with rotation when I used to do rotation between 4.5s, it's so easy for you to get it wrong, and you're adding to the decisions you have to make throughout the season. Do you really want to be spending, I don't know, however long you spend, say you spend an hour, say you spend 5 hours thinking about your team, 20% of that time you spend on your 4.5 million goalkeepers, and then you could get it wrong. Or you can just go, this is the goalkeeper for me until my next wild card, and then you get those points against the big teams. You may not get the points against the small teams. And then it's one less decision you focus on. Because really, the biggest decision you're making is the captaincy. Because that's the one that can have the biggest rewards. Sorry, say that again?
Yeah, I agree completely. When sticking with goalkeepers, you just recommend sticking with them and not changing them unless they have probably Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea and United next 4 or something.
Don't even change them when they have that bad. If I'm not planning on the wild card, then I'll maybe accept the fact that I'm only getting save points or bonus points.
Yeah.
I literally will not change the goalkeeper because I think there's so much more points you can get from moves elsewhere than you can from your keeper. And if you get onto someone like Pope, I know he's not the 4.5 now, but if you get onto the right keeper, then it's a worry you don't have for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Bilal, man. Thanks for coming on. I hope it's not the last time we hear your voice on the show.
I'll definitely come on again.
Cheers, dude. And thank you for everything you do for us in the Discord as well. You're very active and a lot of good stuff, man. Appreciate it.
2 more callers left, Jay. FPL Ukraine.
Oh, interesting. Good evening, FPL Ukraine. Are you there?
Hello, guys. Do you hear me?
Whereabouts are you from?
One more time.
Whereabouts are you from?
I'm from Kyiv, Ukraine.
Nice, cool. I just had to ask because I just your username. Well, welcome on the show. You're here with myself, JNO, and Steve-O. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. Pleased to see you all together and talking about FPL. So, seems quite good.
Well, are you a new viewer of the show? Have you recently found out about us?
I'm a new first-time caller, but I'm watching you for about a year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. But I never called. I don't know why.
Well, maybe you got something to talk about tonight. This is your team on the screen: McCarthy, Alexander-Arnold, Dyer, Vinagre, Mitchell, Walker-Peters, Salah, Bamyang, Norwood, Ings, Werner. Your bench is interesting. Greenwood and Foden on the bench with Brewster and Button as your non-playing. You got 3 minutes. Talk to us. What's this and what's your question?
So my main question is, I called it my strategy. My strategy is called Hidden Strike. So my plan is to sacrifice the game week 1. All these game week 1 punts like Ellis, Son, Maximan, Suchek, Covided, and prepare my team for long-term, I don't know, fixtures, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
So I already have 0.5 in the bank. So Inks can easily become Martial. So I will be double up on MU. And also Foden will wait for Sterling or KDB instead of Salah or Aubameyang. That's my plan. What do you think?
I think it's something which is obviously being discussed a lot. Having assets on the bench, we've seen it this evening and we've seen it now. With the money that's in Foden and Greenwoods, arguably that's easily
too much?
No, I think you can still put together a decent team. I mean, you're not having to take point hits to bring in City players or Man United players, and you're not really. Your team isn't awful. I mean, Norwood, will he do anything? Will he? You're basically hoping for 3 points there, I think.
But Jace, any other better options for a 5-point nil?
Suchek if he plays.
But if he plays, I definitely. But
yeah.
I don't think he will play.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a slight chance, but who knows? I mean, is it too risky, Steve-O, going with Foden and Greenwood on the bench game week 1? Do you think game week 1's going to be that high scoring that if you have a slightly weakened team, you're going to miss out? And
No, I think the strategy of, if anything, like Ukraine is doing, is actually probably best used because of this blank. This blank game week is almost like a saviour for some, because we can take those punts on these quote-unquote poorer teams, i.e. Crystal Palace defender Mitchell. It's just a one-off game. And then you come into game week 2 without having to take hits or anything, and Ukraine's going to be bringing in Martial for Werner or Ings, whatever. And I think it's an ideal time to be doing these kind of plans.
And I'm almost sure that they will rise, definitely.
Yeah, of course. Maybe not Foden, but I'm...
Without Messi, I think Foden can be a real bargain this season.
I agree. He could be a real bargain, but I think a lot of people are going to wait and see with him, like game week 2, 3, and onwards, see where he exactly fits in. Is he getting the minutes? I think with the team you've still got Salah and Aubameyang, and a captain one of those two. Like majority of people out there, you got Werner as well. Are you really going to get realistically that many different? I mean, the points difference between you and someone that hasn't got that on the bench, I don't think it's going to be a lot, really. You might end up being lucky and outscoring a few people that have gone with a strong starting 11. And with the bonus of having Greenwood and Foden to bring in for game week 2. No, I really think that you have got a good idea.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks. I'm a little bit worried. Maybe I'm overthinking, but...
You're not overthinking, mate. You're not overthinking. In fact, you're planning. Okay. Greenwood, obviously, and Foden. Greenwood, obviously, with Sancho not signing, you'd expect him to get starts and play. You know, his performance towards the end of last season was phenomenal. His ability to knife a goal is second to none, in my opinion. And, you know, Foden, like you said, Foden, Pep, you know, not getting Messi, obviously crazy that we even suggested that he might be. And obviously David Silva leaving, I think could be a good, amazing value into that City midfield. So yeah.
Jace, do you think that Greenwood and Martial, it's like a shield from not having Bruno?
Yeah.
So
I think Greenwood and Martial, having those two, will.
So, with Greenwood and Martial, I don't think it's so scared to not have Bruno.
No. Yeah, exactly that. If you've got Greenwood and Martial, I wouldn't be losing any sleep about not having Bruno. If it was either or, yeah.
Okay, so my time is gone. Thank you, guys.
Your time is up, but mate, don't worry. It's just a guide. I mean, you come on the show, you share your team. You're not getting any criticism from me, and by the fact that people are shaking their heads, agreeing with me or nodding, I think that you just go with it, man. If you're guts with it and you're happy with your team, go with it.
Okay, thank you, guys. Have a good evening. Greetings from Ukraine.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, dude. Thank you for coming on the show.
Final caller, Jarvis.
Yeah. Good evening, Jarvis. You're live on the airwaves with myself, JNO, and Steve-O. How are you doing, my friend? Jarvis, can you hear us?
He's been waiting a while.
Jarvis, can you hear us, buddy?
He's moving in and out.
Doing that
doing
thing.
A bit of a dance with Jason.
Yeah, it's fine. He's probably a mobile user, and this normally happens when mobile users try and speak. It moves them out. Jarvis, try... Jarvis, are you there? Jarvis, are you there, buddy?
It says 007. It really is not a...
Yeah.
Hey! There he is.
There we go.
Jarvis, your team's on the screen. You're live on air with us. What is your question, my friend?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
Hello from the other side.
Yeah.
Well, you
It's
approve?
just that I have one confusion.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
What's your question?
I think he just wants to hear us sing again.
Go get the guitar, JNO.
The guitar doesn't have, just me hitting my microphone. Just strumming my microphone.
I think that's done, Jason. I think,
It's
unfortunately.
just that I think I am very confused between Ward-Prowse and Pereira.
I think he wants to know a choice between Ward-Prowse and Pereira. I believe. From what I've heard.
Well, you got Ings there. I would go Pereira.
I wouldn't, just because it's
West Brom.
He is. It'd be the talisman. It'd be the player that you'd think is going to get the assists or goals. But I think I'd go Ward-Prowse just because of the start Southampton have, and it is West Brom, Leicester, Everton, Chelsea first three. Doesn't fill me with confidence. I want to see a bit more from him before I'd go with a West Brom player. But I do like the look of Pereira. He's on my shortlist. And Dean Garner.
But I checked the penalty shots.
Is Pereira going to earn penalties?
I have no idea. I'm not going to
I
pretend
don't
I
know.
know.
If he's on penalties, that could be an interesting one. I mean, you're probably going to gain a few different comments and different opinions, but again, I think this is going to be down to your personal gut feeling on it. Ward-Prowse has proven he's in the Premier League. He's a good player. He plays for a good team. Southampton, I think Southampton, like Steve-O said, is going to do well. Pereira is new. Is he going to hit the? Is the fixtures there for him? Question mark. I said Pereira, but the more I think about it, probably stick with Ward-Prowse, mate. All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, Jarvis. Guys, it's getting to that time of the evening where we will be drawing it to a close. It's nearly 11:20. The stream's been going on for a long
Saturday
time.
night.
It's Saturday night, and I'm only on my second Koppenberg. It's 2 hours 22 minutes, and I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuned in the chat, everyone that's tuned in on Periscope, on Twitch. We got Apophomelis, FPL Algeria, FPL Sai tuning in on Periscope, Jack the Cat's tuning in too. Wow, you've been on such a long time. Yeah, this is pretty much what we do. We do long streams. Sorry, that's just what we're about.
That's why I only come on once a year.
Poor JNO. Poor JNO's got a bucket in between his legs because he can't go to the toilet. But yeah, thank you so much for the support that you keep continuing to show us, and all the awesome moderators that help us do the show. Steve-O and JNO, thank you. Also, Steve-O, thank you for being on your own show, man. Thank you ever so much. JNO, man, it's been a pleasure, dude.
Always.
Do you want to
always
just
a
throw
pleasure.
that bit of paper up again one more time? Just
Yeah.
see if
Come
we
on,
can milk,
guys.
if we can milk a couple of subscribers
Every
out
time
of
I
it.
put this up, we actually got. I saw the subscriber notification. So come on, guys, let's have a few more.
Let's get a couple of more subscribers. Let's milk it. Let's hit that like button. Steve-O, any final thoughts before we close up?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people say that they've really enjoyed JNO tonight. They weren't aware of his work and they're going to subscribe to him. JNO, more importantly,
good. Yes.
Go quickly plug your own channel.
No, I'm not here to plug myself.
Yes, do it.
Subscribe.
Do it.
Subscribe.
Do it.
If you're not subscribed here, that's what I want you to do.
Right.
You haven't hit the notification bell, hit that notification bell. If you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord. Be ready to get on the next call. Don't worry about me. I'm sure my link's in the description if you really want it, but don't worry.
There we go. We'll put your link in the description, and we're going to also put your link in the chat, guys. There's your link in the chat. In 3, 2, 1, go over to JNO's channel. Give him some love and attention. If you're not already
Just ignore
subscribed.
my previous videos that has a lot of
And
dislikes.
like all of his videos and comments saying that that Steve-O sent you. Cheers, guys. Steve-O, it's on you, my friend. Give us a wave. Yay! Bye.